Hey everybody, and welcome back to our Behind the Sound interview series. And today we're joined by Tony Bono. Now, Tony has a long history of working in the radio industry. So, to start us off, Tony, can you just give us a quick summary of your history with radio?
Certainly 52 years in the business. I was hatched in the business. My father, along with some others, owned WOKZ in the St. Louis area on the east side, but it was a Class B, covered St. Louis. I was 14 producing, 15 on the air. A couple of years passed. I was the youngest morning DJ in St. Louis history, 1978, working mornings on KCFM,
Wow.
but just now in the Bull. From there, I went to Curl, worked with Dave Scott as PD. Everybody knows him, KIRL. Worked at some other stations, ended up in Omaha working at Sweet 98, then a couple other places, Texas, Arkansas, then ended up in Houston, Texas, as an expansion director of engineering for KSBJ, which is a nonprofit organization. Built a lot of stations for them. Then I moved a station into Tulsa in the 90s, a C3, and operated that for a year, sold to Clear Channel. Then everybody was on the phone calling me for move-ins during consolidation. Ended up in Chicago with Chris Devine, Marathon Media, Superior Broadcasting. Was their director of expansion. I've got about 70 move-ins to my name.
Wow.
And in the process, sold a station and bought one in Tennessee, and then ended up down here after I kind of semi-retired and decided to operate. I mean, it's what I always wanted to do anyway. So I own a C2, covers the entire Tennessee Valley. It's got a huge signal. And crazy enough, for whatever reasons, I ended up being a general manager for 2 LPFMs, and I help other LPFMs. And
Wow, that's a really impressive resume there. You kind of have had your hands in a little bit of everything as far as radio goes here. And we've spoken in the past, and you've mentioned that for the past 15 years or so, you've been a little bit partial to Omnia audio processing. What was your first experience with Omnia like, and how has that relationship grown for you?
I was in Chicago with Chris Devine, operating my office on Oak Street, Michigan Avenue. I had a Sony radio, still have the radio, and my Sony 7506s. And I was so impressed with the clarity that I was hearing on some of the stations in Chicago. And, we all started with the basic processors. I remember seeing the Beta Optimod 8000. Ed Bench had that in St. Louis, and I was working mornings there. But I was so impressed with the clarity. And I started asking engineers there, hey, what am I hearing? He said, oh, that's an Omnia 6. Really? Wow. Where do I get one? And believe it or not, I just bought one and stuck it in my studio to play with and to hook into a dummy load. And then I put it on the air, and it was been on the air on and off for how many years now? 2005. I was impressed with it. It's got a big motor. It doesn't sound like anything else. And after that point, I got hooked. Omnia products are friendly to people like me.
So moving forward, you purchased your very first Omnia VOLT in 2018. Why did you decide to purchase the VOLT there? And were there any challenges that you were experiencing that sort of made you want to make that switch? Or can you tell us a little bit about maybe your first impressions with the VOLT as well?
Well, I work a lot with Tim Coaches. He's my chief engineer to my C2. And Tim has worked with Frank quite a bit.
Oh, sure.
And I believe he sold Omnias. Tim's a good friend, and he's a genius, like Frank. And I was talking to him about he has an LPFM, and I was listening to his audio. And he said, man, what do you got there? I want one of those for, for one of my stations, and maybe what should I get for the LPs I'm managing? And he said, well, you could buy an Omnia 1. But there's this new thing called a Volt. I'm going to buy one. I suggest you buy that. So I did. Man, I liked the 6, but it blew the 6 away, and I thought that was impossible.
Wow.
I found settings I was crazy about, put it on the air. It's on a country format. We're playing everybody from Johnny Cash to all the new stuff to Florida Georgia Line, all that.
Sure.
It's just incredible. The clarity is just beyond description, because I've been after audio perfection for many years, trying to bring back the sound of the 90s with the control that we have today.
Sure.
That's what I believe the 11 does, because I've never owned 11. What I'd love to have an 11. But the internals of the Volt kind of reflect that. It's
Sure.
the same algorithms. What I found was when I got the version 2, which is I just bought version 2, I'm going to convert my version 1 to version 2, and I'm going to buy more of them. And I probably should buy another car for the family, but, you know, I'm going to get in trouble when I have a toy in my garage as a backup because I like playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the version 2? I took it out of the box, put it in the rack, hooked up the transmitter to the dummy load, put on my Sonys. I heard Electra V2 for the first time. Like, maybe I'm deaf, but I kept cranking it up and listening to it. Like, I have never heard clarity like this in my life. It's like I'm listening to the early 90s, but now with the control.
Awesome.
I went further with this. I said, Tim, it's not enough. I'm missing something. I played with Quick Tweak. He said, well, I could get in the internals. Not necessary, Tim. I mean, no offense. It's not that I don't want to call you up, but I like Quick Tweak. It does what I want. I achieve what I need. I don't want to say I don't need you, but you know, you like making it loud. I want clarity, and I want to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I need something that I don't know what it is. It sounds fantastic. It beats everything I've ever heard in my life. But I need one more thing. Figure it out. I'm a supervisory engineer. He said, you know, there's a setting called warmth that's next to the effects. If you take down that shelving, you can get that sound you want from the early 90s. So I did, and I applied that to all my presets that I had developed. I called Tim up at midnight or 1 a.m, said, my God, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Like, what? I got it. When I was in Chicago, listening to all that clarity on those Omnis, I finally have settings that resemble that. It blows everybody else away. I've had an owner of a station in Chattanooga drive up here just to listen because, you know, it's an LPFM. He said, I have never heard anything like this for years, 25 years, but you got the loudness and the control and you don't hear it working. How did you do that? I said, Quick Tweak.
That's awesome. So essentially you're able to get the exact sort of sound you were looking for here with Volt 2.0 then. Is that right?
Beyond my expectations, and I'm not just saying that to make you happy. I've never heard anything like it. And listen, I've owned a lot of processors in my time, and I still own some other processors. And, you know, some cheap stuff I bought off eBay just in case for emergencies and so forth, in case a friend of mine needs a processor. But what do I use? I use an Omnia VOLT. Why? I can plug it in, and I've got presets using Quick Tweak. I can be on the air in 5 minutes. The clarity, in fact, this owner from Chattanooga said, there's no comparison. He said, they're going to listen to what you're playing, and then they're going to go back to the other station, and it's just going to sound like noise. It's fatiguing. Whatever you got there, those settings you got, never heard anything like it. I mean, I have never heard anything like it ever, because I remember the clarity of the 90s, but not with this control. I mean, the bass is tight. You know what I'm talking about? The mids are silky smooth. You can fall through them. You can hear the resonation on the vocalist, you know, on their vocal cords.
Sure.
The highs are whatever you want. You want all that sibilance up there? Can do it. No birdies. There's no garbage in there. It's just clean. And you can tailor it to pretty much do what you want.
That's a really nice compliment there. And just like you're saying, you know, sometimes people don't know exactly why they prefer a sound over another if they're not, you know, in this industry, or it's not something they pay a lot of attention to, but they definitely can notice, which is awesome that you're getting those results. And that kind of just leads me to another question, you know. So you've been using Volt 2.0 here. Would you say it's been a significant difference for you going up to 2.0 compared to the original version?
I liked version 1, and I thought there were so many presets that I liked. When I went to version 2, I'm on the jalapeno settings and thinking, hey, that sounds good. 6 volts. I've been playing around with 6 volts. Dang, it's like I have the clarity, but now I got loudness that I don't even need that much loudness, but it's there if I want it. It's like I don't know. It's like putting a Hemi in a Volkswagen.
Sure.
Beat it. You know what I mean? It's like it's gonna go. And what's crazy is I've got several Electra version 2 settings that work on any format. I just change it a little bit. I can use it for country, I can use it for rock, alternative rock, or I can use it for top 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weirdest thing. I mean, you take processing back to the day, early 90s, and there, especially back to the DeRose, there was only one setting. And that's what you got.
Yep.
Now we've come full circle, and there are settings that you can use on anything.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate that.
That's awesome. To have that versatility is great. Especially for someone like you who kind of dabbles in a little bit of every sort of genre. It sounds like you have that flexibility there.
I've programmed a classical station before. I've worked alternative rock, hard rock, country, worked AM, FM. I'm playing around with the internet now. That's the next thing. From here, would I want an 11? Absolutely. Would I buy an 11? Oh, I could. But I see so much versatility with a Volt, I'm going to stick with it because I can buy lots of them. Next step is to use them on internet, is my streams for the stations. Sure. Is to process it separately and give it some real gas.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was going to bring me right to my last question here, which was going to be, any other future plans that you're working on aside from streaming, even?
I've got my fingers in some other people's stations because they like what I do, and I've recommended Volts for them too, and they're thinking about purchasing just because they already got processing, but they heard what I have, and they want to know how to reproduce that. As soon as I install this Volt that's in my garage, I'm going to buy another one. I got to have one in my garage to play with, or I'm going to go insane. I like tinkering, and what I really like is to bring Tim over with his laptop and watch him make some magic. He'll take some of those jalapeno settings and play with those, and we get some really interesting sound because I'm experimenting.
Yeah. Well, obviously we appreciate all of the support and of course all the kind words and everything. Obviously you're passionate about what you do, so it means even more that you love everything in the Volt so much, and I'm glad it's been able to make such a big difference for you.
It has made a major change in my faith in the ability to process with clarity. I now believe that's possible again. I gave up for a while, and I'm not joking. I have never heard anything like this before in a small box like that for that kind of money. I feel like I'm in New York City and Cleveland, Tennessee.
That's a huge compliment. Well, thank you so much, Tony, for taking the time to speak with us today. It was great talking to you and great hearing about all your different experiences that you've had. And as always, appreciate the support. Thanks for joining us.